What's good, Skull Nation? Your boy is back with another round of absolutely insane Vikings news that's gonna blow your purple and gold minds. Listen up, cause what I'm about to drop on you is straight up wild. We got 3 storylines cooking in Minneapolis right now that could completely transform this offense into an absolute monster. And trust me, if even 2 of these things happen, we're looking at a championship caliber attack that nobody in the NFC is ready for. First story, TJ Hawkinson just had the most mysterious injury update I've ever heard, and his return to practice is raising some serious questions. Then we got trade rumors swirling around a Bills running back who could be the missing piece for J.J. McCarthy's development. And if that wasn't enough, there's talk about bringing home a former top 3 draft pick quarterback who's got Minnesota written all over his comeback story. Here's what's got me absolutely fired up. Kevin O'Connell is building something special, and these 3 moves could be the difference between a good season and a legendary one. We're talking about potentially adding explosive talent at multiple positions while getting our key players healthy at the perfect time. Are the Vikings about to pull off the most underrated offseason in the NFL? Drop it in the comments if you think Minnesota is about to shock the league. And if you want to stay ahead of all the Vikings insider news, smash that subscribe button because this is just the tip of the iceberg. But first, let me tell you about TJ Hawkinson's return and why Coach O'Connell's explanation makes absolutely no sense. What really happened during Saturday's practice? And why are the Vikings being so secretive about their Pro Bowl tight end? The answer is going to surprise you, and it changes everything we thought we knew about Minnesota's offensive game plan. Alright, Skull Faithful, we need to talk about TJ Hawkinson and this absolutely bizarre injury situation that has everyone scratching their heads in Minneapolis. Here's what we know happened. Hawkinson left Saturday's practice early, missed Monday's session completely, and when reporters asked Coach Kevin O'Connell what was wrong, his answer was straight up weird. O'Connell said it was hip, perna, costas, como você quiser classificar. Basically hip, leg, back, however you want to classify it. Hold up, what? That's not an injury report, that's a medical mystery. Since when does a professional NFL coach not know what body part his Pro Bowl tight end injured? Well, that's not normal, Skull Nation. And it's got me wondering what's really going on behind the scenes. The good news is that Hawkinson returned to practice Wednesday, but here's what's really interesting. O'Connell still wouldn't give specifics about what was actually wrong. He just said Hawkinson would do some work in practice. That's coach speak for, we're not telling you the whole story. Why is this such a big deal? Because with Justin Jefferson still dealing with his hamstring issues and Jordan Addison suspended for 3 games, TJ Hawkinson becomes crucial to our passing attack. This man caught 95 passes for over 900 yards last season. He's basically our security blanket over the middle. Here's what I think really happened, and this is just speculation, but hear me out. I think Hawkinson was dealing with some nagging issues that the medical staff wanted to be extra cautious about. With our injury history at key positions, maybe they're being overly protective of our offensive weapons. Remember, Hawkinson is coming off that brutal leg injury he suffered a couple years ago. When you've been through what he's been through, every little ache and pain gets magnified. The Vikings can't afford to lose their safety valve in the passing game, especially not with a rookie quarterback trying to find his rhythm. What's really encouraging is seeing how quickly he bounced back, missing just 2 days of practice for what sounded like a serious multi-body part issue. That tells me it wasn't as bad as O'Connell made it sound initially. Maybe the coach was just being dramatic to throw off the Patriots before our joint practices. The timing couldn't be better for Hawkinson's return. J.J. McCarthy is going to need every weapon available, and having a reliable tight end who can move the chains is essential for any young quarterback's development. Plus, with our receiving core dealing with injuries and suspensions, Hawkinson might be asked to carry an even bigger load this season. Here's my prediction. Hawkinson is going to have a monster year in 2025. With defenses focusing on Jefferson and dealing with all our other playmakers, the middle of the field is going to be wide open for our Pro Bowl tight end. But speaking of adding weapons, wait until you hear about the running back trade that could change everything for our offense. Hold on to your horns, Skull Nation, because the trade rumors around Bills running back James Cook have me absolutely hyped about the possibilities for our offense. Here's the situation brewing in Buffalo. Cook is holding in during training camp because he's unhappy with his contract situation. The man rushed for over 1,000 yards last season with a 4.9 yards per carry average, and he's looking for a pay raise heading into his final year. When asked why he wasn't practicing, Cook's response was simple: business. Now here's where it gets really interesting for Vikings fans. We're reportedly one of 3 teams that should be lighting up Brandon Beane's phone trying to trade for this dynamic playmaker. And honestly, it makes perfect sense. Think about this for a second. Aaron Jones, while he's going to turn 31 in December. He had a solid season for us, but we all know running back careers don't last forever. James Cook is only 26 years old and just entering his prime. That's a 6-year age gap that could make all the difference in our championship window. But here's what gets me most excited. Imagine what adding Cook could do for J. McCarthy's development. Having a legitimate dual threat running back who can catch passes out of the backfield and break off explosive runs. That takes so much pressure off a rookie quarterback's shoulders. The numbers don't lie, Skull faithful. Cook averaged 4.9 yards per carry last season, while our ground game was, let's just say, inconsistent at times. Adding his speed and versatility to pair with Jones' power running style. That's a 1-2 punch that could absolutely terrorize NFC defenses. Here's the beautiful part of this potential trade. Buffalo might actually want Aaron Jones as part of the deal. The Bills need short-term help, and Jones brings that veteran leadership and playoff experience that their locker room could use. It's a win-win scenario that could benefit both franchises. And let's talk money for a second. We've got the salary cap space to make this work, especially if Jones goes the other way. Plus, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah has shown he's not afraid to make bold moves when the right opportunity presents itself. Remember how quickly he pulled off that Jordan Mason trade with San Francisco? The more I think about this potential trade, the more it makes sense. We have arguably the best receiving core in the NFL with Jefferson, and when healthy, our tight end group is elite. Adding a dynamic running back like Cook would make our offense literally unstoppable. Picture this while J. McCarthy hands the ball off to James Cook, who breaks through for a 15-yard gain. Then the next play, McCarthy hits Jefferson on a comeback route. Then Cook leaks out of the backfield for an easy touchdown pass. That's the kind of offensive diversity that wins championships. What do you think, Skull Nation? Would you trade Aaron Jones and a draft pick for James Cook? This could be the move that puts our offense over the top. But there's another potential trade that has me even more excited. Skull Nation, buckle up because I'm about to blow your minds with the most perfect trade scenario I've ever heard. Bringing Trey Lance home to Minnesota. This story has everything. Hometown hero, redemption arc, and the quarterback whisperer. Kevin O'Connell, who could finally unlock Lance's potential. Are you kidding me? This is like something out of a Hollywood movie. Here's the setup. Trey Lance was the 3rd overall pick in 2021, but his career got derailed in San Francisco. Now he's with the Chargers, and guess what? He just had an incredible preseason debut against Detroit. Lance went 13 for 20 with 2 touchdowns and 0 turnovers. Even Chargers coordinator Greg Roman said he played winning football. But here's the kicker that gives me chills. Lance is from Minnesota. This kid grew up dreaming of playing for the purple and gold, and now we might have a chance to make that dream come true while adding incredible depth at quarterback. Think about what O'Connell has done with quarterbacks. Sam Darnold went from Jets bust to playoff quarterback in Minnesota. Josh Dobbs looked like a legitimate starter in our system. If anybody can fix Trey Lance, it's KOC and his offensive staff. Here's why this trade makes brilliant sense for both sides. The Chargers have Justin Herbert and Taylor Heineke ahead of Lance, so they can afford to move him. Meanwhile, we need quality depth behind the JJ. McCarthy! And what better insurance policy than a former top 3 pick who's still only 25 years old? The proposed trade is absolutely genius. Lance for a 2026 6th round pick. That's it. A 6th rounder for a quarterback with 1st round talent who just needs the right system and coaching to reach his potential. If the Chargers want more than that, we should hang up the phone, but at that price, it's a no-brainer. Here's what makes this even more special. Lance would be coming home. There's something powerful about playing for your hometown team. That extra motivation that can't be measured in statistics. He'd have the support of his family, friends, and an entire fan base that remembers when he was tearing it up at North Dakota State. Can you imagine the storyline if Lance ends up starting games for us? The hometown kid who was written off by 2 NFL teams coming back to Minnesota and leading the Vikings to playoff success. That's the kind of fairy tale ending that would have the entire NFL world talking. And let's be honest about our quarterback situation. McCarthy's talented, but he's coming off a knee injury and missed his entire rookie season. Having Lance as our backup gives us legitimate insurance at the most important position on the field. Plus, the competition in practice would only make both quarterbacks better. This trade represents everything I love about Kwesi Adofo-Mensah's approach to building this roster. Low risk, high reward. Moves that could pay massive dividends. Lance still has all the physical tools that made him a top 3 pick, and if anyone can unlock that potential, it's Kevin O'Connell. What do you think, Skull Nation? Should we pull the trigger and bring in Trey Lance home to Minnesota? Would a 6th round pick be worth the chance at redemption for both Lance and our franchise? Let me know in the comments, because this trade could happen any day now. And if you're as excited as I am about all these potential moves, Hawkinson's return, the James Cook rumors, and the Lance homecoming story, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on. This Vikings offseason has been absolutely insane, and we're not done yet. The Purple and Gold Kingdom is about to make some serious noise this season, and you don't want to miss a single second of it. Skol Vikings!